All right, so get ready, because today we're diving into something um, pretty incredible, really. We're talking about the awareness, or at least the seeming awareness, between you, the person watching YouTube, and the algorithm that's suggesting all those videos to you.
Yeah, I think we've all had that experience, right? Scrolling through YouTube and then bam, there's that one recommendation that just feels like, how do they know?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, are they reading my mind or
Yeah.
something? But today we're going to sort of demystify all of that. Like, how does this system actually work?
Well, the core of it is this idea of a feedback loop.
Okay, a feedback loop. So not like, mystical or anything.
No, no, nothing like that. It's really just a constant exchange of information between you, the viewer, and the system. Every time you click on something, every video you watch, like you give it all gets fed back into this loop and it shapes the recommendations that you see.
Oh, okay. So it's less about the algorithm, like, magically knowing what I'm thinking and more about it kind of being like a detective, right?
Yeah.
Gathering clues based on my behavior
Yeah.
to understand what I like.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And there are actually 6 core stages to this loop. It starts with, just basic data collection. Think about all the things that YouTube's tracking. Watch time, likes, dislikes, even comments. It's all meticulously tracked.
Oh, wow. So they really are like building a whole picture of all of my viewing habits.
Exactly, yeah. And that brings us to the next stage, which is data processing.
Oh, okay. So what's happening at that point?
So at that point, YouTube's taking all of that raw data and they're trying to extract meaningful features from it. It's kind of like, sifting for gold.
Sifting for gold. Okay.
Yeah. They're looking for patterns in how people engage, details about the videos themselves, even information from, your user profile.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so then what happens to all of that, like refined gold, all that processed
Yeah.
information?
Well, that's where the real magic happens, I guess you could say. That's machine learning. They use that processed data to train incredibly powerful models. And these are algorithms that can predict, based on all of that information, what you might want to watch next.
Okay, so wait, it's not just like one giant algorithm that's deciding everything. There are all these different models at work.
Yeah, you can think of it like a team of, specialized experts. Each one of those models is focused on a different aspect of your viewing preferences.
Wow, that's pretty complex.
It is. And of course, like any good team, you got to evaluate the members, right? So YouTube uses a lot of different rigorous testing methods to see which models are actually the best at predicting what people will want to watch next.
So it's almost like a competition. Like who can read my mind the best?
Yeah, you could think of it that way. And then the winners, those models get deployed.
Yeah.
So they're the ones making real-time recommendations for everyone. But even then, it doesn't just stop there.
Oh, okay. So it's just this constant learning and evolving and adapting. It's a little unnerving, but it is impressive.
Yeah, it is. It's this constant refinement, always driven by how people are interacting with the system. And that's really at the heart of this feedback loop that we're talking about. And that's why sometimes those recommendations can feel, eerily accurate, right?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so this is starting to make sense, but I guess I'm still curious about like how this loop actually creates that feeling of awareness between me and the algorithm. It's like it knows me personally sometimes, right? Or like it anticipates what I might be interested in.
Yeah, and that's where things get really interesting. At the core of it is this ability of the algorithm to build a really sophisticated user profile. But this
Wow.
profile isn't just like, a list of videos you've watched. It's a dynamic representation of your tastes, your preferences, maybe even your current mood.
Whoa. So it's almost like a digital version of me, like my very own YouTube twin.
You could say that. I mean, every single interaction you have adds another layer to this profile. So it just becomes more nuanced and more accurate over time.
Wow. That's pretty mind-blowing. So I guess it's less about the algorithm having consciousness and more about it just creating this really, really detailed model of like what makes me tick as a viewer.
Precisely. And it goes beyond just your past viewing history. YouTube also considers the context. So the time of day, your location, even what device you're using, all of that can influence the recommendations you see.
Oh, okay. So like if I'm watching cooking videos on my phone during lunch, I might see something different than when I'm on my laptop late at night.
Exactly. It's all about tailoring those recommendations to your specific situation and just making them as relevant and as engaging as possible.
Wow. This is starting to feel less like a simple recommendation system and more like some kind of, I don't know, intricate dance between me and this incredibly complex algorithm.
I think that's a great way to put it. It really is this dynamic interplay, a constant exchange of information that's shaping how you see YouTube and how you experience it.
This is all so fascinating. I mean, it's really mind-blowing how much complexity is involved in something that we often take for granted, right? Like
Yeah.
those suggestions on the side of our screen.
Absolutely. And we've just scratched the surface here. There's so much more to explore about how this awareness plays out, how it influences what you watch, and, what control you even have over the whole process.
Well, for all you deep divers out there, buckle up. In part two, we're going to take this exploration even further. We'll dive deeper into the world of user profiles and context sensitivity, and we'll even talk about that delicate balance between the algorithm showing you what it thinks you'll like versus trying to surprise you with something new. So, yeah, stick around.
Welcome back, depth divers. So last time we left off talking about, how YouTube collects all this data about us, but I'm really interested in how it all gets put together. Like, how do they take all that raw information and actually build an understanding of me as a viewer?
Yeah, exactly. It can't just be a simple list of my favorite videos, right?
Right. It's way more complex than that. YouTube uses something called a knowledge graph to represent all of that information.
Okay, a knowledge graph. So what's that, like a giant spreadsheet or something?
Well, not exactly. Think of it more like a massive web of interconnected ideas and concepts. It includes, videos, channels, creators, and of course, users. Like everything's connected in this intricate network.
Okay, so it's kind of like a map then. It's showing how all these different pieces of information relate to each other.
That's a good way to visualize it. And your user profile within this knowledge graph, it's constantly evolving based on every single thing you do on YouTube.
So let's say, like, I've been watching a lot of videos about, I don't know, electric cars lately.
Okay, yeah, perfect example. So the algorithm's not just going to note those specific videos that you watched. It's also going to start linking your profile to other related concepts. So, maybe things like sustainable transportation, battery technology, even specific car brands.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool. So it's really building this, like, multi-dimensional picture of what I'm interested in. It's not just, like, one topic at a time.
Exactly. And all those connections in your profile, they become stronger and more refined the more you interact. So every time you watch something or like a video or leave a comment, it's giving the algorithm more information about the nuances of your preferences.
Okay, so this is all starting to make sense, but I gotta say, it's a little spooky how accurate those recommendations can be sometimes. It's like it knows what I'm going to be interested in before I even do.
Yeah, and that sense of anticipation is it's actually a key part of this whole idea of algorithmic awareness. It's not just about recommending things that you've already liked, it's also about predicting what might capture your interest in the future.
Okay, so how does it do that? How does it go beyond my past behavior and like anticipate my future interests? Is it just magic?
Well, I wouldn't say magic, but it is pretty clever. Part of it is that context sensitivity that we talked about earlier, like the time of day, your location, the device you're using. But it also goes deeper than that. It uses that knowledge graph to identify emerging trends and patterns across, all of YouTube.
Oh, interesting. So it's kind of like it's paying attention to what's happening in the wider world of YouTube, and then it's using that information to suggest things that I might be into.
Exactly. And it can use all of that to introduce you to new creators, new types of content, stuff that you might not have discovered just browsing on your own. It's almost like your own personal exploration guide.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's starting to feel less like an algorithm and more like, I don't know, like a digital companion who's curating my own personal YouTube experience.
I like that. That's a really good way to put it. It's about creating this sense of flow, right? Like guiding you from one video to the next in a way that feels natural and engaging. And that brings us to another really crucial element, which is the balance between, well, they call it exploitation and exploration.
Okay, exploitation and exploration. Those sound like very different things. What do those mean in this context?
So exploitation is basically about recommending content that aligns with your established preferences. So stuff that the algorithm already knows you like. It's kind of like playing it safe. It's serving you the comfort food of YouTube.
So like that friend who always recommends the same restaurant because they know you like it.
Huh. Yeah, exactly. But, just like in real life, too much of the same thing can get boring. That's where exploration comes in.
Oh, okay. So what is that all about?
So exploration is about recommending stuff that's maybe a little bit outside your usual viewing patterns, things that might surprise you, challenge your perspectives.
So it's like that friend who's always like, hey, let's try this new place. I think you might really like it.
Yeah, exactly. It's about kind of pushing your boundaries a little bit, introducing you to something new.
That makes sense. I've definitely had those moments where I've clicked on something that seemed totally random and ended up like discovering this whole new genre or creator.
Yeah, and that's the power of exploration. It's about keeping things fresh and exciting. You don't want to get stuck in this echo chamber of your own
For
preferences.
sure. Okay, so the algorithm is trying to do both of these things, right? It's trying to
Yeah.
recommend stuff I know I like, but it's also trying to introduce me to new things. So how does it decide? How does it know when to exploit and when to explore? It seems like a pretty delicate balance.
Yeah, it is. And it's actually another area where your feedback is super important. The algorithm is always analyzing how you respond to both familiar and unfamiliar content. So it's trying to figure out like how much novelty are you comfortable with? And then it's adjusting its approach based on that.
So it's like it's learning how adventurous I am as a viewer, like how far outside my comfort zone I'm willing to go. Wow. This is also fascinating. I never realized how much thought went into something that seems so simple on the surface.
Yeah, and we're not done yet. In part three, we're going to dive into, the role of your feedback, like how you can actually shape this whole algorithmic dance. And we'll also touch on some of the ethical considerations that come up when we're talking about this level of personalized curation. So stay tuned, deep divers.
Welcome back, deep divers. So we've been talking about how this YouTube algorithm is like, watching everything we do, figuring out what we like. But I guess the question is like, how much control do we actually have? Are we just at the mercy of this all-knowing algorithm?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, right? It's easy to feel like we're just along for the ride, especially when those recommendations are so spot on. But the truth is, it's not a one-way street.
Oh, okay. So we do have some say in the matter.
Absolutely. I mean, think about it. Every time you watch a video, like it, comment on it, or even just, scroll past it, you're sending signals to the algorithm.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So it's like this constant conversation. We're given feedback, even if we're not like consciously thinking about it.
Exactly. And the algorithm is listening, constantly learning, and refining its understanding of what you want to see.
So it's really a two-way street then.
I would say so. Your feedback is a crucial part of this whole process.
Okay. So how can we be more deliberate about the signals we're sending? Like, how can we make sure we're getting the recommendations we actually want?
Well, for starters, be mindful of those likes and comments. If there's a creator you really enjoy, engage with their videos. Like, comment, share. It's a clear way to tell the algorithm, hey, I want more of this.
Right. So it's not enough to just watch. We have to like actively show our appreciation for the content we want to see more of.
Yeah. Think of it like voting with your clicks and likes. You're telling YouTube, this is good, give me more.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But what about the stuff we don't like? Like when the algorithm gets it wrong and starts recommending videos that are like totally off base.
Well, that's where things get a little trickier. I mean, you can always just ignore those recommendations, right? But there are also more direct ways to give negative feedback.
Oh, okay. Like what?
YouTube lets you remove videos from your watch history. If there's something you watch that you really didn't like, you can get rid of it. And you can even tell the algorithm, don't recommend this channel.
No, that's handy.
Hmm.
So even if we can't like totally control the algorithm, we do have ways to like nudge it in the right direction.
Absolutely. It's all about being more aware, more intentional with our interactions.
This is all really fascinating. I mean, it's amazing to think that something as seemingly simple as clicking on a video can have such a big impact on how this system learns and evolves.
It really is. And, at the end of the day, it's this amazing convergence of technology and human behavior.
I totally agree. I mean, this whole exploration has really opened my eyes to how complex and powerful this algorithm is, but also how much agency we still have as viewers. We're not just passive consumers.
Exactly. We're active participants shaping our own experience with every click and every view.
Well said. And I think that's a great note to end on. Thanks for diving deep with us today, and hopefully you all learned something new about how this incredible system works.